Hello everybody, in today's video I am going to be sharing 3 crockpot recipes with you. They are absolutely perfect for this time of year. Actually, I love a crockpot recipe any time of year because it's so easy to get everything thrown together and have a delicious dinner or dessert when you get home. It's minimal effort but maximum flavor. And then also, now that it's back to school time, I know that a lot of people are busier with their kids in school and different activities going on, so this is something that would be great for a weeknight meal when you are short on time. But let's go ahead and get into today's video. The first recipe in today's video is for this honey garlic chicken and veggies, and to start out with, we're going to combine the ingredients for the sauce. So what I like to do is take a large measuring cup and measure the liquid ingredients first. That way I'm not dirtying multiple dishes. So I'm going to combine soy sauce along with some honey and then also a little bit of ketchup. And then once you have all of that combined, you're going to add in your seasonings. For this recipe, I will have it linked in the description box below. That's going to be some crushed red pepper flake, and then do that to your taste preference for the heat level. And then I did Italian seasoning instead of the dried basil and dried oregano. And then some freshly chopped garlic, and then you're just going to go ahead and give that a good stir to combine it well together. And I'm just using a fork to do this in the measuring cup. Very quick and simple to do. So I'm going to start out by spraying my crock pot with a little bit of nonstick spray, and then I'm going to be adding in my chicken thighs. Now I am using a little bit less than the recipe calls for. I used what I had left over from my video last week when I made bourbon chicken with chicken thighs. And then to that, some red potatoes. I went ahead, if they were a little bit bigger, and I cut them in half. Otherwise, for the baby ones, I just left them whole. Then some baby carrots, and then added in that sauce. I do kind of stir it around just a little bit just to make sure everything is well combined into the sauce. And then you're going to set this on low for 7 to 8 hours or high for 3 to 4 hours. I ended up cooking mine on low for about 8 hours, and this is what it looked like when it was finished. Now, I did not add the green beans that the recipe called for. I was watching the comments that said, you know, you're supposed to add it the last 30 minutes of cooking, and a lot of people said it wasn't enough time. So I actually just went ahead and omitted the green beans this time, but I do love green beans, and I do think they'd be great with this sauce, so just keep that in mind if you have them on hand. The second crockpot recipe that I'm sharing today is for these Dr. Pepper ribs, and oh my goodness, this could not be any easier. So I'm using baby back ribs. You could use St. Louis style or the country ribs, whatever you prefer. And then the first thing you want to do is remove the membrane, and this was really easy to do. All you want to do is take a butter knife along the back of one of the bones, and you're going to start lifting that membrane up. And then here I have my husband holding the baking sheet for me. It made it a lot easier. So once you get that lifted, you just want to take a paper towel to give you grip and just pull that down. Now this came off in one easy sheet. It doesn't always come off that way, but this method of sliding the knife along the bone is the way to go. It's so easy. So then what I did is I just cut them into 3 pieces to fit into the crock pot, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some Dr. Pepper. Now I added more Dr. Pepper than like recipes will call for. I just take it about like 3/4 of the way up. That's just what I'm comfortable doing. I make pulled pork with Dr. Pepper, and that's what I do as well. And then you want to set this on low for about 7 hours. You do want to cook it low and slow. That's what's going to make your meat nice and tender. And then when you remove it, we're going to add the barbecue sauce. So the barbecue sauce combination is going to be half a cup of the Dr. Pepper and then some of the barbecue sauce. And I went ahead and started to stir this together, and I felt like it was a little bit thin for what the recipe called for. So I did add some more barbecue sauce. I'm using the Sweet Baby Ray's, but use whatever your favorite is. But I knew that I wanted it to be a little bit thicker. So I took the ribs out of the crock pot, and they were falling off the bone. And I went ahead and seasoned them with some black pepper, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. And then I'm going to add on some of that barbecue sauce and spread it around with a brush. And then this is going to go into a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. And then when it comes out, we're going to flip it over and do the same thing, season and put the barbecue sauce. It's going to go back in for another 15 minutes. Now you can also do this on the grill if you would like, but this was so easy. I just went ahead and took a baking sheet, covered it with foil, and then put a rack on top, and it was absolutely perfect. That barbecue sauce gets nice and like thick and sticky on the ribs, and like I said, these are like fall apart, fall off the bone tender from cooking in the crock pot, so it's absolutely perfect. I did want to note the recipe that I used does use liquid smoke, which I did not want to use, so I omitted it, but everybody in my family that had this loved it. I actually made it because my youngest brother is home from college and he was talking about wanting his friend's Dr. Pepper ribs, so I thought I would try this recipe out, and it was definitely a family favorite. The final recipe in today's video is for this blueberry dump cake. So I went to a blueberry farm to pick blueberries with my family, and I wanted to find another way to use them up. A lot of them suggested maybe making a healthy protein smoothie, but why do that when you can make a beautiful and indulgent dessert? So I'm going to start out by just spraying my crock pot with some nonstick spray, and then I dumped in about 4.5 cups of the blueberries. Now you can use fresh or frozen or any type of fruit that you have. If you don't have blueberries or you don't like them, you could use strawberries, apples, anything that you like. And then you're going to take 1 box of cake mix and then just dump that dry on top, and then 1 stick of butter cut into slices and then put that on top. I covered and cooked this on low for about 3.5 hours, and it came out perfectly cooked and bubbly. That cake kind of seeps into the blueberries. Now this is perfect as is, but if you want to, I think this would be delicious served with some vanilla ice cream as well. I hope that you enjoyed seeing these recipes today. I would really love for you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I love sharing these recipes with you each week here on my channel. But I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.